Now we're going to talk about chord group number 4 in the key of E, which, again, as a reminder, means that E is like the home bass chord. We're going to use 3 chords, E, A, and B7. Now that sounds a little weird. So far, we've talked about 3 other chord groups. We talked about the key of A, and A is the home chord, and that uses the A, D, and E chords. Then we talked about the D chord family, using D, G, and A, and D is the home chord. And then we talked about the key of G. G is the home chord. So now we're going to go back and learn one more chord so we can play songs in the key of E. E, A, and B7. We learned some minor chords. E minor, A minor. This is our first extension chord. Major and minor chords are what we call triads, 3-note chords. A 7 chord, like B7 or C major 7, anytime you hear the word 7, it means there's actually a 4th note that's been added to the chord. So B7 has a normal triad, a B major triad, but it's also added a 7th to the chord, which is just the 7th degree of a mode. Well, again, we'll talk about that later. So now we're talking about a 4-note chord, which sounds a little more complex. Here's a B major chord. B7 sounds more complex, because plain and simple, we added one more note. Wait a second, Dave, when you play an E chord, if there are only 3 notes in the chord, how come I'm playing all 6 strings? It's still 3 notes. We're just doubling up on some of them. So E, A, and B7 are the chords that make up the chord group number 4 or the key of E. So here's how to play a B7 chord. You're going to not play the low E string at all. You can either choose to just not strum it with your strumming hand, or with your fretting hand, you can take the thumb and use the little fleshy part of the tip of the thumb to lean against it, which mutes it. On the A string, you're going to take your 2nd finger, or middle finger, and put it on the 2nd fret. On the D string, you take your pointer finger, or 1st finger, and put it on the 1st fret. On the G string, you're going to take your 3rd finger and put it on the 2nd fret. You're going to play open B, and then on the high E string, you're going to take your pinky, or your 4th finger, and play that. Check for dead guys. If there are no dead guys, strum it. Take your hand off, do this, and then start over. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my this is my B7 chord. Thank you. Finger it. Check for dead guys. Fix it. Good. Start over, do that for 5 minutes. And then as soon as you can, start blending it in with, particularly with the E and the A chords. So here are just some examples. There's an old Willie Nelson song called Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. In the twilight, that's an E chord. Ere I see, B7. Blue eyes crying in the rain. There are some rock songs like Katie Tunstall. Woohoo, woohoo. That's an E minor chord, going to a B7 chord, back to E minor. That's like literally 90% of that song. There is an old song by Stone Temple Pilots. Interstate Love Song, I think it's called. That's not exactly how the melody goes, but those might be the actual words.